Just look at where we are. Could that music be any worse than this?
Leaving violin behind, Santana picked up the guitar and felt an immediate bond. In the early 60s, Santana's family moved to a Latino neighborhood in San Francisco, the Mission District. By then, Carlos was already playing in bands and in love with the blues.
All of us are children of B.B. King, you know, just like B.B. King might be a child of T-Bone and other people. We're children of B.B. King.
Well, you know where I'm from, baby.
Carlos's heroes were not Mongo Santa Maria or Tito Puente. He didn't know about those people. He was from Mexico. He was from California. He was a California dude.
The Santana band started out as a blues rock band, but evolved over time as members came and went and different influences entered the mix. Mike Carabello, a high school friend of Carlos, was the first to introduce the conga, having learned to play in drumming circles in the city.
And it was everybody's influence, like, okay, let's try a little bit of jazz this time. Let's do a little bit of Miles Davis this time. No, let's do a little bit of, let's go Borisawa thing this time. And let's do a little bit of a Beatles thing. And let's do a little bit of a Stones thing. And you mix that all together, and we still had our sound.
By 1969, the band had gelled, each member bringing something unique to the sound.
It's very important to understand the early Santana band was masterful creative collaboration. Carlos Santana was a great blues guitarist. Michael Carabella, the conga player, and Chapito Arias, the timbales player, they brought the Latin battery to the sound. Greg Raleigh was a huge contribution on organ. He was a great musician and ultimately he sang their hit records, but the organ was a big part of what they were doing. Michael Shreve was the right drummer to tie the whole package together. David Brown was African-American. He played fine bass and brought that sort of United Colors of Benetton thing to the scene that was so important to their message.
How it happened that there was a Puerto Rican in the band, a Mexican in the band, a Nicaraguan in the band, an Irish guy in the band, a Norwegian guy in the band, and a black guy in the band. We didn't do that on purpose, but the music came out of that.
Visually, the band may have suggested world harmony, but coming from the Mission District gave it an edge.
It wasn't any hippie thing. It was like a street gang, but the weapon was music. You make a mistake, maybe like hippies would say, oh, that's cool, man, you're making a good effort, and, we'll try it again. It was more like,
They weren't hippies. They walked on stage and it was the Mission District, and, I was sure they had switchblades in their pockets.
Women started dancing differently to us than they were dancing to Jimi Hendrix and Cream. Grateful Dead, they weren't catching butterflies. They were more like, this is the gift from God, and sensual and Santana music can truly accentuate that without even trying.
As the band evolved toward a more Latin sound, it had a key supporter, giving it work in rehearsal space, even suggesting Latin songs to cover, like Evil Ways.
Bill Graham recognized it immediately. He understood better than the guys in the band what they were dealing with.
It gave him a chance to have his music reach the audience that he wanted it to reach.
Graham seized an opportunity for the band when the organizers of a rock festival near Woodstock, New York, found themselves in trouble.
Bill got very much involved because he was the only one in the country at that point who really knew how to put on a show for 100,000 people. And of course, Bill being who he was, he said, you got to put my band on.
And he said to us, there's going to be a festival. There's going to be the festival of festivals. and I want you to be in it. I know you haven't, your album's not out, people don't know you from anything, but they requested my help, and I told them the only way I help them if they put Santana. What the hell is Santana?
The band arrived at the Woodstock Festival on its second day, believing that they'd go on in 12 hours. But in the afternoon, they were suddenly rushed on stage. Assuming he'd have hours to come down, Carlos had taken LSD.
The guitar neck, it felt like a electric snake that wouldn't stand still. That's why I'm making ugly faces, trying to make the snake stand still so I can play it, And inwardly, I remember saying over and over, God, I'll never do this again, ever, if you can just keep me in time and in tune.
The Santana Band's performance, with its innovative use of afro-cuban percussion, was one of the hits of the festival. But it became legendary when the Woodstock movie was released.
So when the movie came out, when Woodstock actually came out, we went to go to the show all together with everybody else. There wasn't a special screening or anything like that. In fact, we waited in line to buy our tickets. And I remember that the audience from the show before us were coming out and people were pointing at us. And then when we went in and we saw it, I know we were all blown away. I know I was completely, I didn't know whether to sink down in my seat or stand up and say, that's me, like 5 or 6 of me up there on the screen.
I said, why did they put a camera on me that made me look like a bug?
And that just broke us internationally. After that, it was all over.
After Woodstock, the band's Afro-Cuban blues hybrid became an integral part of the American soundscape. And Latinos in the U.S. had their first popular music superstar, Carlos Santana. From Cuba to Harlem to the stage at Woodstock, the journey of the music had only just begun.
Next time on Latin Music USA.
They had this raw power, and we all went, whoa.
1970s New York. A musical revolution was underway.
It was the essence of the Latino soul.
Next time on Latin Music USA. For more about Latin Music USA, visit the series website at pbs.org. You can watch any part of the program that you've missed. Explore the origins, influences, and sounds of these rich musical traditions. And go behind the scenes to watch web-exclusive performances and interviews.